So in this video, I'm going to try and go through the equipment and the commander skills that have just been released alongside the new season. These are permanent changes. These aren't a test or anything. So first thing, there's 4 bits of equipment now that you can use. Enhanced target info is sort of default on a tank. Toolbox, I would say, isn't very useful. Spool liner, again, lots of benefits to it. I suppose in Cold War or potentially a super heavy, you might have some use for it, but otherwise it's not useful. Binoculars, it doesn't stack with coated optics, but that won't stop me using it in combination with coated optics, particularly with light tanks and tank destroyers. Coated optics can help when you're moving, binoculars when you're stationary, so I think there's going to be a lot of people using both. I think that would be useful, particularly for passive scouts. Coated optics does what it did previously, improves the view range, same with gun rammer, reduces the loading time. Vents, I think vents is probably going to be seen a lot more on builds with the 4th equipment slot, just because vents is usually the one that was dropped, so now that there's that 4th slot, I think vents can be used. Reinforced suspension, just like a lot of these other niche ones, I don't think it's going to be used much. Improved concealment, slightly reduces tank detectability. Not too sure how useful that would be apart from outside of lights and tank destroyers. Gun lay and drive had a slight nerf. I think that used to be 12.5% down to 10%. Still useful though. Gun stabilizer, that hasn't changed. Armor hardening as well, 5% damage reduction. That's good in combination with the commander perk as well. 10% overall, that is useful, particularly in Cold War where you can run the new whole patch repair kit. That's going to help a lot. Additional Gauzers, this is to help the mobility, help your whole rotation, and this is the turbocharger which helps the speed. So you've got one that's for mobility, reduces the annoyance of using it, and the other is the power. Shell exchanger, same as it was. Reinforced internals, only useful if you're going to drop the repair kit, but you're not going to drop the repair kit. This is pretty much useless. A lot with these other sort of niche ones, it's not worth taking. Camo net works the same as binoculars, 3 seconds, and it improves your camouflage. Really good on tank destroyers, passive scouts, those type of things. Avoid on mediums and heavies, obviously. And then these are the 2 big ones. Flash hider, that used to be a skill called muffled shot, so now it's on a piece of equipment. Again, I think this might get used in tank destroyers, and the low noise exhaust, which makes more sense now as a piece of equipment rather than being a perk. So yeah, they're the new equipment. I think the meta build is still going to be optics, rammer, gun stabilizer. I think vents is going to be a lot of people's 4th pick, just because it's just a general boost. Armor hardening as well, I think, could be seen as the 4th bit, or the turbocharger or the Gauzers. They're probably going to be one of those 4 is going to be the one that you're going to see a lot of people pick. I think what used to be muffled shot and silent driving is going to be used a lot as well, and the camo net as well. I think for tank destroyers, light tanks, that's going to be used quite a lot. So yeah, that's the equipment. I think it's good overall, the changes they've made. And this is the commander. As you can see, 6th Sense is now default. It's nicely that it's called out there as a separate perk. And yeah, the perks themselves or skills, quick learner, useless. You're always going to be a perk down if you pick that. Born leader, I think that's going to be number 1 pick for a lot of people. Jack of all trades, not going to be useful unless you want to drop the med kit. Maybe in Cold War where you can run food and the whole repair kit, you can drop the med kit, run this. Very niche though, in combination with pain tolerance to really help your crew. That might help. That might be something that I play around with whilst the respecking is free, but I don't see too much long-term or non-niche examples of that. Would be interesting to see what happens if 2 crew members get knocked out, what the penalty would be. But yeah, could do that. Final stand, not one I intend to use. I try to keep my HP as high as possible, so then it fall under 10%. Yeah, you don't want to be in that situation anyway. Expert gunner, I think this is going to be a lot of people's 8th or 9th pick. This is Iron Mace, and I think it was Deadeye. The improving of the crew and module damage is good, and the decrease to the distance that it has on shells also good. So a lot of heavy tanks, a lot of tank destroyers shooting at long range. This is going to help a lot, particularly sort of a high caliber shell. I'm thinking of the IS-152 with its AP rounds. That's going to be really good. Gunsmith, pointless. Off-road driving, yeah, the 30% increase damage gun, absolutely pointless, but it's there. Rapid aim, this is going to be helpful on a lot of heavy tanks, probably a lot of light tanks as well. Maybe a lot of mediums, so again, another perk that I think will be, 6th or 7th pick. Snapshot, this is probably going to be the 2nd or 3rd pick for a lot of people, and run and gun is going to be, again, 2nd or 3rd pick. Clutch braking, this is going to be useful on heavy tanks. Rollover recovery, absolutely pointless. Don't know why it's in the game. Off-road driving, again, heavy tanks, some of the medium tanks will find that useful. Dynamic driving, yeah, a very niche skill. I know this is for ramming, with the full damage as well. I'm not too sure why they don't combine that rollover recovery and just give dynamic driving the rollover recovery skill. That might then be a bit useful, but as it is, unless it's a bit of a mean build with a rammer. Camouflage expertise, I think for lights, mediums, tank destroyers, particularly in World War II, it's going to be sort of a default skill. Green thumb, TDs, light tanks as well. For light tanks, this might be like the 9th skill you pick, just for those situations where you do want to just sit in a bush. Situational awareness is going to be like the 4th skill for a lot of World War II builds. Radio jam is interesting. Reducing the spotted time, particularly good for TDs and light tanks. Some mediums as well. Comms expert helps keep the enemy lit longer. Again, good for light tanks. Stealthy, quick mediums could also use this as well to good effect. I think for heavies, both those 2 perks probably aren't going to be too useful, particularly if you're just perma spotted with brawling, and your enemy's perma spotted as well. Supply conservation, I've used in Cold War a little bit in combination with the whole repair kit, and I almost got my tank back up to full health with it, so it is useful. I think it is good. Fire safety training. If it was that bad, a tank, I would probably just run a fire extinguisher. This could be the 9th skill for if you really like Soviet or Chinese heavies. And again, another niche skill. I think this is absolutely pointless. Armor angling combined with hardened armor, or armor hardened, whatever it's called. It's going to be good. Pain tolerance, talked about earlier. I think that's going to be in good combination. General mechanic and track mechanic. I know some people like that track mechanic skill. I don't. I do not see the point of it, unfortunately. I would rather have something else. So I think I'm just going to do a build here just for the Conqueror, which I think would be best. And I think this is how a lot of the builds, unfortunately, are going to be, particularly those first 4. And this camouflage expertise, anything other than a heavy, would be number 5. So I know they've changed the skill to make it a bit better, but I think unfortunately they've still got the problem of the first 5 skills for World War II are going to be Born Leader, Snapshot, Run and Gun. situational awareness, camouflage expertise. But for this heavy, I've decided I'm going to forgo camouflage expertise. Got rapid aim, clutch braking, off-road driving. And then it's difficult. It's radio jamming does seem pretty good. Camouflage expertise might be useful here in World War II, just to make those crosses easier and going from cover to cover slightly easier. But I think in World War II now, there's not too many of these skills that are actually useful. So I've gone with the new gun perk and the armour angling. So I think that is probably a quite nice heavy build for a commander. It's quite nice and balanced. It focuses on the gun, and because I've picked armour angling, I've decided to go with armour handling or armour hardening on the 4th perk. So yeah, that's a sort of a rough guide for the new skills and equipment. I think a lot of these skills are going to be overlapping. I think those first 5 skills in World War II are going to be used a lot, apart from on heavies where you'll just use the first 4. Bit of a shame, but I think with the equipment, I think that might change it a little bit.